That is the most efficient way to increase your revenue is to
Chris here, Keystone Lawn and Tree Care in Spokane, Washington. Thanks for joining us today. I have a special guest, Vitaly. Vitaly, in my YouTube channel, I like to have guests like you on. We've been doing this a long time now, and I'd like to share with people out there in YouTube land, like what are some of the things that we've learned running our businesses and that sort of thing. So, before we get really into it, let's just take a quick second. Why don't you tell us a little bit who you are, your company, and
Sure.
why and or how you got started?
Yeah, absolutely. Hi, everybody there in YouTube land. First time guest here and first time doing this. So I'm really excited to be here. Chris is building a nice platform here, and he's helping a lot of folks with new advice, fresh advice, how to get going, tips and tricks. So I'm glad to be part of that.
Hey, thanks. Thanks
Yeah,
for being here.
and so, I'm the owner of a Greenline Services here in Spokane. I purposely don't put lawn care in my name because I kind of do a little bit of everything, multiple streams of income, to get through the slow seasons and whatnot too. So primarily lawn care, landscape, trees, shrubs, bushes. Do a little bit of that. I started, I'd say, 21 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah, summer of 2000. I just turned 12 years old, and I got my first job pulling weeds at an apartment complex here in Spokane. And then I was asked, "Hey, can you help with mowing the lawn?" I said, "Hey, 12 years old, sure.
Heck yeah.
$7 an hour.
$7 an hour. All right.
Well,
For
for
a 12-year-old, that's pretty good.
that's good money.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was summer of 2000. Going on to 22 years of making a living doing this. This has always been my primary source of income, and I don't look that old, but I got 20 years in.
You don't look that old. When you
So-
start when you're 12 years old.
Yeah. So that does age you a little bit, but no, it's been good. But I was obviously underage. I couldn't really have my own business being 12, so I just did that for a while. But 2005, I opened up my own sole proprietorship.
Oh, really?
I was 18 years old, so I could do that.
Okay.
Took on full responsibility. 2005, I've been in business officially, and just been rolling along ever since. Doing commercial, primarily apartments, was where I first started. And then I expanded out to private homes, residentials, because people ask.
Sure.
You
Yeah.
know, referrals, people around me, and so it kind of grew to that over the last 20 years.
So now, Vitaly, did you ever go to school for this stuff? I mean, you talk about the school of hard knocks. Like, what have you learned over these years? I mean, did you go to school for this sort of business? Or
Yes and no. I did go to Running Start when I was 16. I went to SFCC here in Spokane, and but I was focused on. I was actually going to go into the medical field. I wanted to, become a cardiologist. That was my first goal that I wanted career wise. Way different than what I do now. And then I did go to college.
Yeah.
But I worked the whole time, and it got to the point where business was taking up too much of my time, and I couldn't go to school. I couldn't do both. It was one or the other.
Okay.
And I had a mortgage. I got married. We had a kid on the way.
Okay.
School was not paying the bills.
Sure. Yeah.
And so I just kicked the business into high gear and just stopped going to college and just did business.
So how did you, when you're first getting started, I like to talk about things. Take us back to when you very first got, not very first got when you're 12 years old, but
Yeah.
when you were, say, your first couple years and you're 18, 19, 20 years old,
Yeah.
what are some of the things that you did to build and to grow your business? Like, so somebody's out there in YouTube land, maybe they're watching this video and they're just getting started and they're wondering like, well, how do you do it? I mean, I think the biggest hurdle is just making that decision is to go into business and to
Yeah.
do something.
Yeah.
And now that you made that big leap, what were the first couple years like, and how did you grow that business?
Sure. Well, one thing, while I was in college, I decided to switch majors. And instead of going for the medical field, I switched over to business. And so I took some accounting classes. And so I got a little bit of understanding on the mechanics of running a business. And so that gave me some comfort level to.
It gives you a leg up.
Yeah, kind of like, hey, these are, your assets and liabilities. This is your profit and your loss.
Sure.
So I had a basic understanding of a business. And I thought, well, how can I apply this? So
Sure.
hey, I'm doing lawn care part time. I see the potential here, and I think I'll just apply to it full time.
Yeah. So did you do anything particular to like in advertising? So you kind of got the business stuff going
Yeah.
on, but what would you do to advertise? I mean, did you have a sign? Did you do Craigslist? I mean, did you have yellow pages back then, 100
Yeah.
years ago?
Yeah.
People used to advertise in the yellow pages. Like, how did you get your name out there?
Well, that's the thing with me is I've always been low key. So I did very little advertising. The only advertising I really did was Craigslist. It was free back then.
Yeah.
I picked up some customers, but primarily I'd say 95% of where I've my income has come from, where the clients has been through referrals and word of mouth.
Yeah.
And it doesn't cost you anything, and your work speaks for itself.
Yeah.
So how it happened is, 2005, I opened up my business officially. I'm in college. I've got a little bit of accounting background. So the big thing that worked with me was just talking to people. So my first client, where I started at 12 years old pulling weeds, they wanted me to take care of the whole complex.
So you went back. Oh, you were there
I
the
stayed
whole
there.
time.
I never left.
Okay, you never left. Okay.
The manager asked me to mow her house.
Okay.
Like, oh, okay. And then while I was at the manager's house, the neighbor asked me to mow their house. So it kind of just trickled
So how
down.
many clients did you have in that first year or two? How like when you were
Just a
18?
couple, a handful,
Yeah.
half a dozen.
And so you're telling me we went from a half a dozen to
Yeah.
like to a dozen, and just through that word of mouth. You weren't
Yeah.
advertising online. You
I
didn't
had
have
no
yellow
signage.
pages.
I had no signage. I kind of did it the hard way because at that point, 2007, 2008, I was on the fence. Do I want to keep doing this, or do I want to push for a full career going through college,
Sure.
going through the whole courses and
Yeah.
everything? And I think time will tell. And life got in the way.
Yeah.
Got married, had a mortgage, had a baby on the way,
Yeah.
and like I need to make a living.
Yeah, it sounds like my story. I started really similar way. I just got married, had a kid on the way, or the second one on the way at this point. I was really kind of struggling, trying to make ends meet, and I just started pushing a lawnmower to make ends meet there on the weekend. And
Necessity.
It just kind of
Yeah.
took off, and
Yeah.
I did things a little bit differently. I got the word of mouth certainly, but I just jumped in. I
Okay.
started advertising. I had a sign for the side of the truck. I got shirts made. I mean, I went all in.
Okay.
And I went from 10 customers my first year to like 25 the second
Wow.
to like 50 the third or fourth, and I mean it just like exploded. And now I don't advertise at all.
Yeah.
I mean, no advertising, with the exception of maybe the sign on the side of the truck and the shirt.
Yeah, what you did is the fast way of doing it. Technically, people would say, hey, that's the proper way of doing it. There's no wrong way. It depends on your comfort level.
Yeah.
If you want to be flooded with work, I mean, do what Chris did, massive advertising, go full out, the gear, the signage, the trucks, everything. That will get your name out there, and people will call you. I did it slightly differently. I only did half pedal. I didn't go full out. I just did little by little, step by step, and just managed everything. But it got to the point where I needed more. I needed more clients. I needed to increase my revenue, and I met up with a guy, and he helped me give me a few business ideas. And what we did was we went door knocking.
Yeah.
Up on the South Hill, and in one day we picked up 10 customers.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've talked about that previously on the channel, where door knocking and flyers, it's incredibly important, especially when you're first getting started.
Yeah.
But now you didn't just go door knocking anywhere.
Yeah.
You mentioned the South Hill, and the South Hill in Spokane is a good neighborhood.
Yes.
It's a target neighborhood. It was
Yeah.
my target neighborhood too. And why did you choose the South Hill as opposed to maybe the Shadle neighborhood or say like Hilliard neighborhood?
Well, because I already had a client here. I had somebody that I knew that hired me to do their lawn, and I was already in the area, and I looked around the neighborhood, and I thought, this is a nice neighborhood, a lot of lawns, and I will see if I can just, I have a starting point, and if I can just expand from there. So I just walked around that neighborhood, door knocked, talked to folks, and people were willing to sign me up and have me come out there and take care of the property.
Absolutely.
So it was kind of like I got my foot in the door early. I just happened to be there, and I just took that starting point and just expanded.
Yeah, and that's some good advice. You don't want to like have one house over here and then one house clear across town and one house clear across town. You identified a target neighborhood, and then you identified a target market, being the nicer neighborhoods, and you tackled that neighborhood. And that's good
eventually
advice.
I did go all over town. So I've divided my schedule to where I'm in a different part of town every day. So Mondays I'm out west, Tuesdays I'm up on the South Hill, Wednesdays I'm in central Spokane and north, Thursdays I'm in the valley,
Right.
Friday is any extra work, projects, etc. Rain days.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. You don't want to be
No.
in one part of town one day and then the next part of town the other day.
No, you don't want to crisscross. You're going to lose a lot of time driving.
Yeah,
We call it window time or screen time or windshield time.
Yeah.
It's where you're behind a windshield.
You're not making money.
Not making money. The money's just going out the window.
Yeah. So speaking of making money, what are some things that, say somebody's just getting started, they got a few clients, what are some ways that you can make additional money? I've talked about this in the past, where maybe trying to upsell them to maybe do fertilizer, or what would you suggest on trying to squeeze the most money as you can out of a neighborhood or out of a single client? Like, what's your best way in kind of streamlining that?
If you're looking to, and that is the most efficient way to increase your revenue, is to use the customers that you have, and in the sense that you provide additional services to them. They are already there. You already have them as a customer. There's things that they need to have done. Mm-hmm. And so if you're at a property and, hey, you notice, hey, the hedges are looking pretty overgrown, or hey, the grass isn't growing very well, they could use some fertilizer, or let me help you adjust your sprinklers. You got a dry spot there, you know. So you think of the mentality, hey, how can I help this person improve their property?
Sure.
So you've got a built-in customer, and they've got things that need to get done.
And it's really a win-win, because you make some extra money and their property looks better.
Yeah, definitely. And so I would definitely recommend doing that. If you're looking to increase, if you want to stay in a certain area, go up and down the street. Some folks are elderly and they don't get out as much. Neighbors talk, so let your client know, hey, I'm looking for other clients in this area. Do you know of anybody that could use my services?
Yeah. Oh yeah, upselling their other people. That get recommended referrals.
Referrals. So referrals are my favorite. That's how I've gotten 90% of my customers. Is word of mouth.
Really important.
So I've kept it low key. I haven't advertised, but things are looking to change this year.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. We are here. It's springtime. Early March, and so we are all coming out of hibernation, out of winter mode, getting stuff ready. I've got most of my equipment tuned up. I've got one or two pieces still in the repair shop that are coming out, and customers are calling. I'm calling customers. We're just getting going for the new year.
Yeah.
And this is the year that I expand my branding. I'm getting the logos. I'm getting the truck signage. I'm just gonna really put my name out there. Our city is growing, and we are having a lot of people come here. Yeah. And I'm looking to expand a little bit.
Yeah, and there's incredible opportunity out there, and not just here in Spokane, but I really would say nationwide. There's just incredible opportunity for people who are willing to make that jump and to, plunge in and do it.
Yeah, definitely. And so with the springtime coming, we are excited, and we have changes happening. Every year is never the same. Yeah. So one of the big questions that we have is employees.
Yeah. That is a nationwide thing. It's like we're struggling trying to find employees, and it trickles down into our industry certainly. And we were just talking about this earlier off camera. It's like, what are we going to do? I mean, we can't afford to pay our guys like $25-$30 an hour. There's just no way. And that's kind of what people are starting to demand. Yeah. And, and then we're like, okay, well, maybe I can do $20 an hour, which is still a lot of money, considering a couple years ago we were paying our guys like $13-$14 an hour,
10, and that 12.
And that was a good wage. And now we're paying them almost twice as much at $20 an hour, and we still can't keep guys. Yeah. So historically you've been virtually solo, maybe a helper or two. Almost solo, with the exception of maybe a helper a couple times a week. Yeah. Well, how's that going to change this year, or is it going to change?
Yeah. So over the last few years, I've had several part-time helpers. Again, it's seasonal work, so it's hard to keep somebody around all year. Things do dip down in the winter for sure, and it doesn't always snow every week or every day, or
in the winter
you go a month or two without snow. So there isn't too much to do, and so the work is seasonal. So I've had part-time guys, and they've always been usually college age level, people between work. Somebody that is new to the area, somebody that a few guys I've kept around that, like the steady work all summer because they go to school. You know? So I've kind of found that niche, that working with younger guys, you've got the energy and the ability and the stamina to go all day with you.
Yeah, it's hard. Yeah, and we have a hard time even keeping good employees. I've had great employees I've had over the years that have left and started their own company, which is, it's good for them. But, like the old saying goes, it's hard to keep good health.
Yeah.
And we're just struggling. And I don't have an answer for you guys out there in YouTube. We've been talking about this all day, but it's hard. I personally, I think I'm going to keep it low. I have been bigger. I think when we ran into each other years ago, I had several employees and they were out working, and but now I've kind of scaled it back a little bit. And in fact, I've made more money now this last year than I have before with less employees, and I was doing a majority of the work, which is it's pretty good. I mean, I like making more money.
No, that's great. I agree. I'm looking to just have good quality work and good quality clients. And so I am putting my name out there this year. Want to expand in that sense. I'm not looking to take on, 100 more properties. I can never do that. But we're looking for name recognition. We're looking for people that want to hire us, that will, have the means to pay us.
Pay.
And then, because that way we can actually pay our employees more.
Sure.
So it's a win-win.
Yeah.
So we are looking to, I'm looking to have at least a part-time helper, maybe 2 part-time helpers. Really hard to have somebody full-time. It's possible. You have to look at your local market. If you're in a college town, you can find part-time helpers to help you out. Yeah. Do it legally, do it above board.
Above board, yeah.
My biggest worry is guys getting hurt.
Yeah.
And so for your area, know your market. We know what we have to pay to keep good guys around, and so we're willing to do that. But in the meantime, along with everything else, inflation's gone up. Fuel prices are the highest ever.
And prices are going up. Our prices are going up.
Our expenses are up 30% at least.
Huge. So if you take, say, an average lawn of, say, you're charging $50 for, what are you going to charge for something that like this year? Are you going to increase prices? Are you going to how are you going to go about that?
Yeah, I'm going to do at least a 10% above everything increase, and that's just to keep up with what my income revenue was last year. This isn't anything extra. I just want to maintain my level of profitability and to keep the same services going, the same quality going. And to keep good guys on board, I have to do at least a 10% increase.
Yeah.
Property by property, maybe more, but that's going to be minimum.
Yeah. What do you think about the idea of cutting clients, cutting the crummy clients that you just don't like? I mean, and then maybe charging everybody else 10% more.
Yeah.
And then when you go to acquire new clients, charging them at least 10%, maybe 15 or 20% more.
Sure.
To make up for the crummy clients you just cut. What do you think about the idea of cutting clients to make more money?
Yeah, I've kind of struggled with that for a little bit. I never want to lose a customer. I'm usually a positive, forward-thinking, going forward guy. I want to maintain what I have and move forward with it. But there are cases where the client is just 20% of my clients cause 80% of my problems.
Yeah,
it's that 80-20 rule again.
Yeah.
And so you get rid of the headache clients that they're the ones that call you 60% of the time. They're the ones that just take up your time. The complaints. Week after week after week. I've never personally fired a client, and I've never fired an employee. I've made it so that they choose to do that.
It's uncomfortable.
Yeah. So raising prices is one way to do that. If a person is willing to pay for that service, hey,
maybe. But even then, I mean, if they're a real pain in the butt, even if they're
really
pain
in the butt, then I just don't renew services the next year.
Yeah, that's a kind of a nice way, a gentler
Season
way.
ended. And
I've had to tell people that I didn't have the heart to tell them that I hate your yard and I'm not doing it. I say something more like, well, thank you, Mrs. Jones, but I've gone in a different direction, or it's like a little bit of a white lie maybe.
Well, what I usually say is, hey, my schedule is really full right now. If the schedule's so full, I can't take on anybody, and that is true. Especially you get it going, April, May hits, you are busy. Your schedule gets very full, spills into the weekends.
And you really can't waste your time with non-performing clients. You really need
That's a good point. It's just drop, the bottom 5-10% of clients.
And that's good. 5 or 10%, that's, so say if you have 100 people, you're going to be down to at least 90. But I would say within that same month, you're probably going to be back up to 100. You cut to 10, but you're going to get 10 more over here, and hopefully those new 10 you get are going to be paying that 15 or 20% higher rate.
So it can balance out, and eventually you hold on to the good people and you move forward with that. You don't want to hold on to the dead weight. No. I mean, they're just people that drag down your business. They give you stress. They give you calls that are just unpleasant, and it's not fun doing those properties, and it doesn't make you, want to look forward to doing them week after week.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
Yeah, if you guys are getting anything out of this video out there, I want you to hit the like button, subscribe, and share this video with your friends. Comment below, because when you do this sort of thing, it changes the algorithm on YouTube, and it brings this video higher to the top. So maybe somebody out there wants answers to these kind of questions that we're talking about. And when you participate and you like and you comment and you share, it brings these videos higher up, and somebody else will find them, and we'll be helping out somebody else out there in YouTube land. And that's really the whole goal here today, is to share some of the things that we've learned about and to make you guys successful out in there in YouTube. So we're going to take a short break. We're going to come back, and we're going to get more back into this.
Sure.
And I think this is great. I think we got
Absolutely.
a lot going on.
Yeah, we've got a lot of topics to discuss, and it's never ending, but we want to help you guys, and we want to make sure that we pass on the knowledge that we have to help you get started, improve your business, and to get better at it.
Yeah, absolutely.